Indeed. Well, first of all, suggesting that black women marry white men as a solution to the lack of availability of black men is no solution at all. And the reason it's not a solution, not just because we do not want to mix our seed with another, that's one of the reasons, but also because white men are not in a rush, nor have they ever been, nor will they ever be, to marry black women. Just because educated black men are in a rush to marry white women does not mean that the opposite is true. The average white man is not looking for a black woman for nothing other than as a sex toy. And if black women are not careful, they will end up getting used and sexually abused and tossed back. I personally know of black women who have dated white men, been engaged to white men, and ultimately had their feelings broke because they thought that this man genuinely cared, but he was simply using them as a sex toy, leading them to believe that he really wanted them, and at the end of the day, he threw them right back to where they came from. So sisters better be very careful playing that interracial card, because one thing we got to recognize, whether you are married to the white man or not, he is still in control and you are still his slave. Remember, when two people come from two different races that have two different degrees of power, we got to recognize power now. Marriage is a power relationship. The white man belongs to the European race that currently runs the world. The black woman belongs to the African race that has no express power whatsoever. So when they get married, that's not a coming together of two equals. That's the coming together of a master and his slave bitch. And we got to understand that. That is not an equal pairing. You are that white man's slave. Now, the sick part is a lot of black women would rather be the slave to a white man than a wife to a black man.
All right. Okay, brother. Thanks for, brother, the teacher. Thanks for calling in, okay, brother? Keep listening to the show, okay? Okay, peace. Yep. Now, that's interesting because one of the things I talked about, brother, was Halle Berry and her ex-fiance, whatever he is, Gabrielle Aubrey, and how there were reports from witnesses who stated that he called her a ghetto N-word, and it wasn't the first time he called her that, and how he didn't like the fact that their child had African blood, things of that nature. And, you know, and my question was, what did you think was going to happen? You know, these are some of the things we broke down on that show. And my thing is like, what do you think was going to happen? You know, but, hey, brother, you know, it's deep. And that's why I approached it from a different perspective, because oftentimes when you have, you know, I listen to Michael Bates, and I listen to Tom Joyner, Reverend Al Sharpton. I listen to a lot of talk radio and semi-talk radio. And when we have these discussions, they never want to deal with the root of the problem and correct that. They're dealing with these superfluous things, which and the solution, just like Viagra, is often worse than the actual problem. The symptoms of the problem are oftentimes, or sometimes the remedy they prescribe is actually worse than the initial problem in the first place.
Well, that's because they're not offering solutions. They're offering Band-Aids. They're trying to put a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound, and you can't do that.
Right.
The only way you're going to deal with that gunshot wound is first remove the bullet that caused the wound and then stitch it up. You can't put a Band-Aid on it. See, most of our tactics to deal with our oppression and our situation are only designed to do what? Slow down the pain, but not to eliminate it.
Right.
Everything is designed to slow down the trauma, but not to eliminate it. Whether it's miseducation, whether it's joblessness, whether it's black male-female relationships, if you look at most of the prescriptive solutions, which are not solutions at all, because solutions deal with causes. If that solution is not going to bring about an ultimate end to the cause of the problem, it's not a solution. It's a Band-Aid. For example, I was at a meeting today, and somebody said, well, we got to have more mentors for the black boys. Without a doubt, we need more mentors. That's a good thing, so they will develop healthily in a psychosocial fashion. But that's not going to stop miseducation, because miseducation is not the result of a lack of mentors. Miseducation is a result of a deliberate intent to economically castrate black men and render them useless in society, so it will be much easier and much more acceptable in the eye of the world to exterminate. See, the reason why Tyler Perry is so important to the American social order, and the reason why these hip-hoppers, like Wise Intelligent was speaking about at the start of your show, the reason why gangster rap is so important to the American social order is because it helps paint the black man. It helps paint him as a useless animal. A useless animal, something that the world would be better off without. Remember, whenever you study any extermination campaign, before there is a physical extermination, there is a media extermination. Before Hitler decided to exterminate the Jews, he first had to exterminate their image in the eyes of the Germans. Before the Germans exterminated the Herero people of Southwest Africa, they had to exterminate their image. Before the British exterminate the Tasmanians of Australia, they first had to exterminate their image. What you see right now is the prepping for extermination. It's like before somebody cooks some fish. Before you actually put that fish in the pan to fry, you put seasoning on it. You put some flour on it.
Right.
You prep it up. You throw it out. You do what? You do everything possible to that fish to make sure that it fries what? Nice and easy. And that's what the American social order is doing to black men right now, prepping us nice and slow. So when the extermination campaign kicked up, we'll be able to die nice and easy.
Exactly. It's a marketing campaign.